Check. 1, 2, yes. Check. Check. 1, 2, testing. Check.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I just want to let you all know that our actors will be using all of the white walkways, so do your best to keep them clear if possible. They will be walking through them throughout the play. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for being here this afternoon. We're super excited to tell a story. I mean, who doesn't like to listen to a story, right? And today you're going to hear that story from our third graders. My name is Mrs. Dorr. I'm the lower school director, so I'm just so happy that you are all here in this beautiful room. And we are going to start with a prayer. But before we do, there's some people that I need to thank. We all need to thank. We'll start with these wonderful third grade teachers who have worked very hard with their students to make this all come alive. I mean, can we just talk about this fire? Goodness. Okay, so Mrs. Adonto, Mrs. Garcia, and Mr. Huckerby, thank you so much for all of your hard work. There is a music component today to our storytelling, and that is thanks to Dr. Brown and Mrs. Bowen. So a big thank you to them. And then there's always, behind the scenes, right? And so that is going to Mr. Tellers. Thank you so much, Mr. Tellers, for all your hard work. He's up there. He's got the best seat in the house, really. And then at the end, we're going to be showing you a film that one of our own parents created, Mr. Jimmy Gomez. So he's not here, but you'll see him in a bit. So on the film, on the big screen. So thanks to him as well. All right, so we're going to go ahead and begin with prayer, as we always do. So let's begin quieting ourselves, and let's begin. Father, you have wired us to create, to dream and design, to innovate and invent, to discover and to lead with new ideas, to set the travels and even blaze a new path. May we, through our artistic expressions, creatively communicate your heart of love, mercy, and grace to a world that needs you. In your Son's name, Jesus, we pray, amen. All right, friends, ladies and gentlemen, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, whoever's all out there, I present to you 13 Moons, a native storytelling hour.
We acknowledge that our school sits on the traditional territories of the Tongva people.
We honor the land and its people, both past and present, and recognize that the best way to celebrate the resilience of Indigenous people is to continue to learn their history, both past and present.
We are in this life together, in our community together, in our world, and we share responsibilities for it all.
A traditional Native worldview is that the earth is like a caring mother. The earth provides everything needed to survive. Native people believe everyone should respect and care for the earth because of all that it gives and teaches us. They've always known how beautiful this land was long before it was called America.
Let us now gather to give thanks and recognition to the First Nations. We thank God for their presence on our planet Earth and for showing us how to respect all life. The peace of the Creator be with you and with your spirit.
The wheel stands as a way of life. Within its circle, we see all people as one.
At the place of the north, we light this candle in thanksgiving for the Chippewa, Sioux, Cree, Cheyenne, Winnebago, Ottawa, Crow, Blackfoot, Chinook, Shoshone, Comanche, Dakota, Nez Perce, Kiowa.
At the place of the west, we light this candle in thanksgiving for the Arapaho, Pueblo, Apache, Navajo, Hopi, Ute, Maidu, Pomo, Yuma, Mojave, and the Tongva.
At the place of the south, we light this candle in thanksgiving for the Seminole, Cherokee, Shawnee, Chickasaw, Creek, Choctaw, Natchez, Quapaw, Tuscarora. At the place of the east, we light this candle in thanksgiving for the Delaware, Mohegan, Iroquois, Mohawk, Cayuga, Oneida, Seneca, Narragansett, Algonquin, and Massachusetts. We are one people, like our native brothers and sisters. We remember all people who have walked this earth from the beginning of time.
We remember all our ancestors who have died, those most recent and those of long ago. We remember Jesus and the promise of His Spirit with us always.
Let us sit. Become quiet inside. We are the inner circle of the wheel. We are one world. We are the Creator's people, as God's people. Let us close our eyes and listen to the Spirit through the words and song of Native storytellers.
entrance song, "The Earth is Our Mother," is a Hopi Nation chant that teaches a valuable lesson on caring for God's creation.
Welcome to our third grade play. Sit back and relax as we entertain and inform you about the Native people. We have been learning about different indigenous tribes, their culture, beliefs, and customs. Now we'd like to share our knowledge with you.
The Native people continue to live all across the land, by the sea, in the forests, on the prairies, and in the deserts. Native people understand the land and continue to learn from it. In the past, they chose their clothing, food, and homes from what nature offered them.
We have learned that items used every day were not only made from natural materials. They were often colored with natural dyes and decorated with artwork that told stories about the land. These stories have been handed down through the elders and speech makers. Even today, the figures on totem poles and masks bring these stories to life.
Native people have a rich oral tradition. This means they pass on their history through the stories they tell. From past generations, these stories or myths were sometimes shared by the fire when a tribe would gather together.
Native people use their stories to explain their relationship with nature. They have a great respect for what the earth provides for them, the natural resources, and all living things. They make sure they only took what they need from nature and give back as often as they can. They also give thanks and praise the spirits for bountiful harvests. Join us now as we sit around the fire and enjoy a myth. A myth is a story that tries to explain something that happens in nature, such as lightning or why deer have antlers. This myth is about how California was made. Why the Earth Shakes. This is a story the Tongva tell. The Tongva people are native to the San Gabriel Valley in Southern California, where earthquakes are common. This story explains the cause of earthquakes and how California was made.
Long, long ago, before there were people, there was hardly anything in the world but water. One day, Great Spirit looked down from heaven. She decided to make a beautiful land. But where would she begin? All she saw was water. Then she spotted a great wise turtle. Turtle's shell was as big as an island. Great Spirit decided to make the beautiful land on Turtle's back.
But one turtle was not big enough. The land Great Spirit wanted to make was to be very large. So she called out, "Great Wise Turtle, hurry and find your 6 sisters." Great Wise Turtle swam to find them. It took her a whole day to find the first. It took her another day to find the next. After 6 days, Great Wise Turtle had found her 6 sisters. "Come," she said, "Great Spirit wants us."
Great Spirit called down, "Turtles, form a line, head to tail, north to south. You 3, to the south. Please move a little to the east. There, that's just right. What a beautiful line you would make." Then the Great Spirit reminded them, "It is a great honor to carry this land on your backs. So, you must not move." The turtle stayed very still.
Great Spirit then took some straw from her supply in the sky. She put it on the turtles' backs. Then she took some soil and patted it down on top of the straw. Great Spirit was pleased with what she had done.
Then Great Spirit made trees, like the mighty redwoods and grand oaks, the noble fir, and the quaking aspen. She made the lakes and rivers. When she was finished, she looked at the beautiful land she had made. Great Spirit was very pleased.
But the giant turtles had grown restless. They wanted to leave. Some turtles wanted to go to the east and some wanted to go to the west. The turtles began to argue and could not agree. Then one day, 4 of the turtles began to swim east, 3 of the turtles began to swim west. The earth shook.
It cracked with a loud noise. After a minute, the shaking stopped. The turtles had only been able to swim a little way from each other because the land on their backs was too heavy. When they saw they could not swim away, they stopped arguing and made up. But every once in a while, the turtles that hold up for California argue again. Each time we do, the earth shakes.
the moon was created. A very long time ago, when the world was just created, the moon was not there, and the sun shone all the time. It was bright and sunny, and there was daylight all the time. Everyone worked hard all day long and did not know when to rest.
One fine day, the creator of the world visited the people in the fields while they were working. He asked them, "When did you last water this field? And when did you dig the hole? And when did you plant those trees in the garden?" The creator then understood that the people of the world work hard all day long and didn't understand the difference between day and night.
He thought that the sun should set in the evening and rise once again the next morning. Then everyone would realize the difference between day and night, and then would stop working when it becomes dark and then would get some rest. The sun readily agreed.
When it became evening, the sun went down quietly. Suddenly, everything became dark. Everyone got scared with the abrupt darkness. They decided to lay down and rest, waiting for the sun to rise again. When the sun came up the next morning, everyone started working. From then on, night became the time for resting.
Although they were well rested, there was still one problem. It became completely dark after sunset. No one could see anything at all. After some days, the Creator visited them once again and asked them, "Are you happy now?"
Yes, we are. We sleep all night and wake up fresh to work the next morning. But there's still one problem. We cannot see anything in the dark. Can we at least have the sun for some time? They pleaded.
The Creator thought for some time and replied, "No, you can't. But don't worry, I shall give you something else, something more soothing and less bright than the sun. You can see things and still sleep peacefully in its presence."
Then he created the moon. Everyone was extremely happy. They slept peacefully in the light of the moon and woke up the next day when the sun shone brightly. Thus the moon was created.
Native storytelling. Native people live closely with nature. Their culture, customs, and traditions are all connected to nature. They understand the importance of respecting life and try their best to coexist with all life forms on Earth.
The moon and stars are very special to Native people. They use the moon to tell time by counting from one new moon to the next, known as a lunar cycle. They name the moon for each month to keep track of the seasons. Each name is a symbol of the moon's guidance and influence in their daily lives. The following stories reflect this tradition. The first peoples believed that there is only one way to stay healthy. They must live happily with the land, the air, and all living things.
They believe everything in nature is closely tied together. The plants, animals, People, sun, and moon depend on one another for survival.
The following stories are based on the first people's belief that the turtle held 13 cycles of the changing moon and changing seasons on the scales of its back.
There are always 13 scales on the old turtle's back, and there are always 13 moons each year. Each moon has its own name and its own story. These stories may be slightly different from tribe to tribe. The Cheyenne told the story of the first moon. This is the moon of Popping Tree. The first moon is in the winter season.
The frost giant walks with his club in his hand, and when we hear the strike of the cottonwood trees, we hear them crack beneath the blow.
The people hide inside when they hear that sound, but Coyote, the wise one, learned the giant's magic song. And when Coyote sang it, the frost giant slept.
Now when the cottonwoods crack with frost again, our children know, unless they hear Coyote's song, they must stay inside where the fire is bright and the buffalo robes keep us warm.
The fifth moon is told by the Huron. It is called budding moon and reflects the change from winter to spring. One year, Old Man Winter refused to leave our land, and so our people asked help from our great friend, Juske-Ha, known to some as the sun.
Traveling across the harsh winter land, he knocked on Winter's cold lodge, then entered and stood by Winter's cold fire. Winter became angry at Juske-Ha's boldness. "Leave here, or you will freeze," Winter threatened.
Ignoring Winter's words, Juske-Ha breathed and Winter grew smaller.
Juskahal waved his hand, and a white owl flew down to carry Winter back to the deep snow of the north.
The lodge melted away, and the trees turned green with new buds as the birds began to sing. And where the cold fire had been was a circle of mayflowers.
So it happens each spring when budding moon comes, all the animals wake. And we follow them across a wide, beautiful land.
Moon of the falling leaves. The Cherokee Nation once spread across Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Alabama. This great nation was home to thousands of men, women, and children.
Their stories are threaded with respect for the earth and its peoples. This is a Cherokee story about the 10th moon. The 10th moon is about autumn. It is called Moon of the Falling Leaves.
As autumn moonlight falls on the eastern lands of the Cherokee Nation, the nights become longer and temperatures fall deeply toward the coldness of long winter nights.
Long ago, as night was falling on a cold autumn evening, wind told the trees that they must stay awake for 7 days and nights. But only the cedar, the pine, and the spruce stayed awake until the 7th night. Because of their faithfulness, these trees were given a special reward that continues to this day.
They were bestowed with the gift to always be evergreen. While all the other trees must shed their leaves and lift their bare limbs longingly to the sun.
So, each autumn, the leaves of the sleeping trees fall. They cover the floors of our woodlands with colors as bright as the flowers that come with the spring.
In the spring, the leaves return, covering the bare branches, bringing hope for a new season of growth and harmony.
But as autumn returns, their leaves fall in one more year's growth to the earth. The evergreen trees stand guard in that great circle of life which holds us all close to the earth.
Moon when the wolves run together.
This legend is told by the Lakota Sioux who wanted to celebrate the moon when the wolves run together. This legend answers why the stars unite the voices of the wolf packs. It goes like this. A long time ago, an old wolf came to that time when his life on earth could last no longer. He was old and very tired. He was too weak to move anywhere. My people, he said, you can follow my footsteps when the time comes for you to join me in the Skyland. My footsteps will light your way to join me in the great house of our forefathers.
The old wolf left the earth, climbing higher and higher, and in each place he stepped, the sky filled with bright and beautiful stars. Shunkman Itutanka we call the wolves. The powerful spirits who look like dogs were joyous and curious.
To sell their curiosity, the wolves decided to climb the tallest hills around them. Once they were high enough, the wolves lifted their heads and sang towards that road of stars. Their songs grew stronger as their voices joined together. The wolves could be heard from great distances.
As it was in the beginning of the elderly wolf, this first moon that is just starting its new life, we climb the hills, lift our eyes toward the wolf trail, and remember that our lives and songs are stronger when we join together.
Maple Sugar Moon. The second moon is an Anishinaabe story of the maple sugar moon. Long ago, maples have dripped thickly from the trees. All year round, all you had to do was break a twig and lie down beneath the tree with an open mouth.
When the Creator sent his helper, Manabozo, to visit the people, he found the village deserted and all the people asleep under the maple trees. He knew the Creator would not be happy that his people had taken this gift for granted.
The Creator heard this troubling news from Manabozo and decided to charge the north wind to send his cold breath over the maple trees. This made the sap flow so very slowly. The Creator then instructed Manabozo to pour water into all the maple trees so that the sap would be very thin and more would need to be collected. All the people would have to work harder collecting more sap.
From then on, the people had to wake up early, boil large pots of water in order to boil the sap to make it sweet. The sweet flavor returned to brown liquid. The sap would only flow once per year, a time we now call the maple sugar moon.
Frog Moon. The third moon is a Cree native tale called Frog Moon. When the world was young, Wisika Jack, the trickster, met with all the animals to decide how many moons winter would last.
All the animals had their own opinion. Moose believes that there should be as many moons as hairs on his body. The beaver felt that there should be as many winter moons as scales on his tail.
Amakaki, the little frog, felt that there should be as many winter moons as toes on his foot.
Wizakajak decided that this was right, and so it is that winter only lasts 5 moons. When it ends, the small frogs sing their victory song.
Big Moon. The fourth moon is a Blackfoot story. The elders say that our land was shaped by Rihoa, the changer. He formed himself out of dust that fell from the crater's sands after making. Owiwa pushed against the earth to rise up out of a deep sleep, and great mountains rose up on either side of him. Then the waters flowed into the place where he had been sleeping to form a great lake. When Owiwa's travels on this earth were finished, he came back to rest by the great lake he had formed when he was born.
This completed life's circle. Winds blew, animals noticed, and the sky changed. All who moved on the earth did not know what to expect.
Were they to fear? Were they to hide? There will be no one to protect them, no one to be their friend. Owihoao raised his hand to calm those who were talking. With his final words, he called out to his friends, the people of the dawn, to place one final moon at the end of each cycle. It was to be called Kichi Kisos, or the 13 moons on the old turtle's back.
stand all together, one voice saying yes we can. Each one, reach one till we pull ourselves up, cause we all one fam. From the rest of the block to the Perry to the Rock, we connect that love. Cause the people with power feel the power of the people when we stand as one.
I got you stuck off the realness. We be indigenous, you heard of us. Max Heaven, the murderers, spreading the love with the water and earth. And the stand against hate, gotta know what the purpose is. We rise, the climate is changing, the signs of the times. It's time to start praying. Pray for the world and community. Prayers are more powerful when we're in unity.
What I know, we are one. What I know, what I know, we are one. Woke up today, hungry for a change, new path to take. Can't stay the same, it's been too long. Pointing out who's right or wrong, can you hear me out? All we need is a little bit of love. Take time to heal and it starts with us. Hand in hand, I put my trust. In one world, reunite, it's a must. Hold on to hope, we can overload. We can break the code with a single note. Sing out for the world to hear that our time is now, no more for tears. I looked into my son's eyes, a new day in a new light. Lift the veil and dwell so peaceful. Come together, one world, one peace. What I know, we are one. What I know, what I know, we are one. It's who you are, it's who I am. We all bleed the same blood, yeah. Hey. We all bleed the same blood, yeah.
We got beautiful differences, let me give you a peek. Over 500 tribes, but we all unique. And if we could not compete to eat, nothing could beat us. Jealousy is more dangerous than diabetes. See this unity? Imagine what it looked like. You would think we would do whatever it took, right? I would do anything for this good life. Yeah. We could do anything if we unite.
Young native, you are my savior. So you're rare for our inspiration. From the black to your reservation. Any color, all populations. From the basement, worldwide invasion. Every day we're painting our faces. Fighting back to learning our language. Dancing our dance, saying our prayers.
What I know, we are one. What I know, what I know, we are one. We only got one word. We only got one word. We only got one word. Yeah. All we got is one voice, one choice, one birth, one love, one birth, one life to live. One life to live, yeah. One people, we stand all together, one voice saying yes we can. Each one, reach one till we pull ourselves up, cause we all one fam. From the rest of the block to the Perry to the Rock, we connect that love. Cause the people with power feel the power of the people when we stand as one.